Hi, I'm Bart Hanson. I'm the owner and lead instructor for CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record every Mondays at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time. If you enjoy the channel, please hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel. Turn notifications on and you will get an email link with this full episode. And if you want to submit to this show, take a look at the information in the description. Awesome. You got a hand for us?
Yes, sir. 5-10 hand at the win.
Okay.
I start the hand with 1,300. Everybody else has me covered.
This is obviously at the win in Vegas, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Lag under the gun, +1 makes it 30. He's super active.
Okay.
Lag in middle position calls. Heroes in the cutoff with 7-6 of spades. And I think if I'm deeper, I think I'll probably 3-bet if I have more money.
Mm-hmm.
But I just call, and I don't know if I like calling because I know I don't know if it's you or Tuckman, you talk about how an under the gun tight knit, if he raises, how you're kind of protected from getting 3-bet.
Well, I don't think it was necessarily me, but you shouldn't get squeezed quite as much. You're closer to the button, too. You said this guy is a lag or he's super tight from +1? You say he's super tight from +1?
He's a lag, so people are going to be squeezing lighter.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So he's loose, but well, I mean, you got the button behind you. Like obviously, the closer you are to the button, the more you can call. I mean, I don't think it's that. I mean, I think it's fine. I mean, you could call. I mean, I guess you could squeeze. I'd like to do it with a little bit better hands. But anyways, okay. So you call on the cutoff with 7-6 of spades.
I called, and then the button who just sat down, he's like a 30-year-old Asian pro.
Mm-hmm.
He squeezes to 140, and I'm just like, damn, I knew he was going to do that because it's just such a good squeeze spot. And the original raiser folds. The middle position lag calls.
Yep.
And then it's 110 more to me. 3 ways. Are you calling there?
I mean, the guy made it pretty small. I mean, that really should be. With that dead money out there, I would think that I would be making it at least. Well, I guess it's 4 times. Well, 4 times 2 limps would be 200. It depends on how deep these guys are. I mean, when he makes it 140 and then the other guy calls is 2. Yeah, I mean, you're getting almost 3-1, right? I mean, I know you're squeezed in the middle and it sucks, but yeah, I pretty much. I mean, you have a direct suited connector. The pot is like 310 and it's 110 for you to call. Yeah, I would call.
Yeah, I didn't love it, but I called. So I have the pot at 460 going to the flop.
Now, by the way, this is sort of different than if old school Crush Live Poker that would say, hey, like 15, 25, 35 with a suited connector, like you have to be 2,500 deep to make this call. I mean, I do acknowledge that, but the interesting thing here is that heads up, it's more of a situation where you're actually trying to, you have a direct equity to win the pot, sometimes with a single pair. Multi-way, it's a little bit more different, and you're not that deep. So I could kind of see a fold here. I'm not saying that I fold, but like fundamentally, when you're not that deep here, I could sort of see a fold, and I just think that like you start to fold out. You could fold out like an 8-9 suit, some of your worst ones, your gap suited connectors, things like that. But 7-6 suited direct suited connector seems a little bit too good. But anyways, okay, so you go to the flop, 460.
The flop comes King 9-8, 2 clubs, 1 spade.
Okay.
And it checked through. I was actually thinking about check raising this flop if the original 3-better bet. I think it's a decent spot to check raise with 7 high and good equity in a backdoor flush draw. But
I mean, I guess it's possible. I mean, I guess you would be representing like pocket 9s or pocket 8s. It's the hands that you wouldn't squeeze anyways yourself. It's a pretty thin value range. King 9-8, 2 clubs and 1 spade, right? So you have the bottom end of an open-ended straight draw. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And the turn comes to 10 of hearts, gives me the straight, and the lag leads out for 110, which is a pretty small bet. And we raised to 330, which I think is probably a little small.
So the MP1 guy, it's a 7 of hearts, right? So it's king 9 8 turns
Uh,
oh, excuse me,
10 of hearts.
10 of hearts. I'm sorry. I
Mhm.
knew I'd screwed that up. Okay, so king 9 8 10. So you have the bottom end of a straight here,
Mhm.
6 7. MP1 leads out for 110. You raise to 330, which is kind of interesting. I mean, I think that you have to have some raises here. I mean, I guess you could call sometimes, but I would, if this, I mean, you keep saying lag, so I just wonder if these guys are going to hang themselves. But I mean, yeah, I would probably be raising here. I think your sizing's fine too. You don't want to make it look like you want to make it look like there's a possibility that you could always be bluffing here. You don't want to commit
Right,
yourself. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Yeah,
And there's so many bad river cards too. So I feel like I like a raise. Like I don't want to see a jack, a club, a queen, a 7, a 6.
right.
Um, and then the button cold calls, and the other guy folds. So the pot's about 1230.
Wow, that's
And whenever he
interesting.
cold calls, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, he could have pocket tens. He could have queen jack. Um,
So now you have about 800 left, basically, right? You put 330 in on the turn and 110 pre, so or like 850, and the pot's 1230.
850.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And the river comes in 9 of hearts.
So it's nine of clubs. Excuse me, king of clubs, nine of spades, eight of clubs. Again, for you podcast guys out there, we have a squeeze pre-flop. Plus one makes it 30. Guy in the middle calls. You call 7-6 suited from the cutoff. You're 1300 effective. Button squeezes to 140. Guy from up front folds. MP1 calls. You call. Pot's 460. The board comes out. King of clubs, nine of spades, eight of clubs, and it gets checked through. The turn's a 10, giving you a straight. MP1 bets 110. You raise to 330. Preflop razor button calls, and MP1 folds. Pot's 1230. You've got about 850 left, and now the river's a 9. So it pairs the board, but you only have 850 left. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of interesting because, like, why? It's really hard at this stack size to like do any. I feel like it's pretty hard to fold here a straight with through 2/3 of a pot size bet left. I mean, I guess you could say that you've run out of value and jamming here is unlikely to get called by. I mean, I guess you could have like jacks, right? Jacks would be like a check back, but jacks isn't going to call. I mean, I kind of look at this as a spot where it's like, well, maybe you've got the best hand here and it goes check, check a lot, but maybe if you check and the guy jams, you could make a fold, but that doesn't mean you're going to have not have the best hand here a ton. It's just a question of like, can you get called with your stack size? Your stack size is so awkward here because, I mean, what are you going to do? Bet 400 and then fold to a raise of another min raise? Like, let's say we throw that out the window. Then the question is like, well, should we be betting here a small amount to get called by something, or is it a check fold? I think it's probably pretty close. I mean, when I first looked at this, I was like, oh, it's, you've got 2/3 of a pot size bet left. It's hard to fold here, so we might as well just bet. But I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing. I mean, I think you could possibly make a case here for planning on checking and folding to a jam. Well, first of all, what ended up happening?
I checked because I hated the turn. I thought he could have pocket tens a lot. I thought he could have queen jack a lot if he doesn't re-raise king jack. And I thought even pocket kings probably bets the flop, but maybe sometimes kings full. But I ended up checking and he jammed.
All right, so hero checks. And button jams. By the way, I don't know who it was that said this. Like this, I am not a fan of check calling on the river generally, even at a 5-10 game at the win in a spot like this, unless you feel like you're inducing a bluff or something. The turn bringing out the 10 of hearts, which does not bring a backdoor heart draw. It's just real hard. Like what bluff? Like is he not betting the nut flush draw on the flop? You know what I mean? Like what he's not betting like queen jack. Well, queen jack makes it there, but like ace queen of clubs, ace jack of clubs, those are only two combinations of hands. And then the other question that I have is like is he turning jacks into a bluff here as well? Like I don't buy it. Like that just doesn't go on really all that at this level. So it's again a situation where in general, I'm not going to be a huge fan because somebody in the live chat said at worst it's a check call. Why would you check call? What would be the reason to check call here? It just doesn't make any sense. Check calling is one of two things. It's to induce a bluff or to get a guy to value own himself, meaning he's going to bet a hand that he would otherwise fold to a bet for value. None of those things are going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he's checked back aces here and then he was going to fold if you jammed, and now when you checked, he's going to jam aces. I don't buy it. It's just going to go check, check. So I don't understand the check call, especially to a jam.
Yeah, I just don't think he has many bluffs. I think if he has clubs, I mean, this is a 30-year-old Asian. He just sat down. I mean, typically not the stereotype, but I think Asians like to bet their draws more so than not.
Uh-huh.
And so I thought he would have bet a flush draw on the flop. So I couldn't find many bluffs that he could have. And if he did, like you said, jacks, maybe jacks with a club was one of the only ones, which should probably just be folding the turn, honestly. But I tanked for a while, and I think maybe versus an old man coffee, this is just a fold. I thought he had tens full, honestly, and I folded my hand face up, and he showed me Jack 5 of clubs.
Jack 5 of clubs? Jack 5 of clubs? Why wouldn't that hand start a bet on the flop? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That's what I'm. But I mean, really Asian pro, and he's squeezing Jack 5. I don't know, man. I don't.
So he was squeezing light, like I suspected. So I guess he doesn't have as many kings and maybe tens as I can. I mean, I guess he can be lighter from the button, squeezing in a good squeeze spot. So
yeah,
I think he has queen jack sometimes too.
Well, yeah, I mean, queen jack, like a hand like 10-9 suited, pocket tens. I mean, listen, like I said, like if you think the guy's capable, then sometimes you might make a call. But again, check calling on the river, checking to check call is only gonna be viable here to induce a bluff, and it just doesn't make that much. The way that this hand goes down, I don't know. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that the guy's bluffing. But if he's that wide, like that he's gonna have jack rack suited, then it is what it is. But anyways, thanks for the call. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA200. Click on the link right there.